You know what? Even looking at the parking lot wanted to make me cry. Seeing the grass come up between the cracks, you're gonna make me cry. I don't like to drive by it. It was pretty doomed. My last few days there were so gloomy. Yeah. They were just running the first shift. People like me weren't doing much because the parts, we had the parts in the pipeline, so there wasn't much you were gonna do to change any parts, let's just say, right? The process, people weren't fully engaged in quality other than getting their job done because the plant was closing. They were, what for? Where's no more enthusiasm. The enthusiasm was bad. But like I said, I left and just got out of there. And when it did close, I don't know where everybody went. I didn't know where everybody even went.
Shock, nobody could believe it. It was, a lot of crying, I wasn't moving, no way was I going anywhere. My son was in 10th grade, I wasn't leaving town. I went up to the job center and tried to take classes for math and all that, and I didn't like school to begin with the first time, so I was like, this ain't working. So I went to Kansas and I was able to drive it with a bunch of people. There was all these guys, they are all that I carpooled with here. Their wives were at home doing the same thing I was doing. They all wanted to get home every weekend. They had kids in school.
I grew up in the shadows of GM. My grandfather's house was the first house straight out from the front door on Jackson Street before they demolished him. So I grew up in the 60s and 70s where my father and my relatives and uncles all worked at the plant. So I have a long history, not just working there, but from family ties on both sides of my family working there.
At first, you kept hoping they would open, even if it was down the road and you couldn't go back there. You hoped somebody would start the plant up again, but it never happened. So now it's just sad to see it go, and it's going, so.
Your people around you became your family for a while. You were there 10 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week, So they became you were with them more than you were with your own family a lot of times,
It was a very giving family. Anytime United Way or any other, organizations wanted money, we were always there for drives and to give. And the UAW and the GM both gave back to this community very well for a lot of years.
We are a warm community, and you can only imagine the inner workings of the plant. I mean, we were family. You've had to have heard that before. We were a small town within a town, and a lot of it has to do with what I did for a job. I knew everybody in the plant. I was everywhere. Being from a GM family, the generation, my dad's generation, I knew all, those are the guys that raised me down there, But then all the people that were my age and their kids that were working down there. So yeah, everybody knew pretty much who everybody was. I did. Yeah. I prided myself in knowing who everybody was. That was our shining star down in the valley, GM was.